Retiring with an unblemished, perfect professional record of 50 wins with no losses or draws, Floyd "Money" Mayweather Jr. is one of the most recognizable faces in boxing. Mayweather's career would see him emerge successful in a staggering 26 world title bouts across 5 weight divisions. Welcome to Power Punch. Today we will be going over the career of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and detailing the most notable fights of his career. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. Before turning professional, Mayweather would record an amateur career of 43 wins and 6 defeats, winning a handful of national tournaments which included the 1993, 94, and 96 U.S. National Golden Gloves tournaments, the 1994 U.S. Olympic Festival Tournament, the 1995 USA National Championships, PAL National Championship, and American Boxing Classic tournaments. He capped off his amateur career by winning a bronze medal at the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta, Georgia, with a controversial loss to Bulgaria's Serafim Todorov. He would turn pro just 2 months later at the young age of 19 years old. In his first 10 professional bouts, Mayweather would only face 4 opponents with a positive win-loss record. His first real test in the professional world would come in his 8th professional bout in the form of Larry O'Shields, who held a professional record of 12 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw, and was riding a 6-fight unbeaten streak heading into his bout with Mayweather. Floyd would pick his opponent apart over 6 rounds, winning the bout by a decisive unanimous decision. In his 10th professional bout, Mayweather would face Louis Leha. Louis held a professional record of 18 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw, and was coming off of an unsuccessful challenge for the North American Boxing Federation super featherweight title that saw him stopped in the 6th round. It wouldn't take Mayweather as long as Louis' previous opponent, though. Mayweather would hurt Louis in the first round and would drop him, though Louis would rise to his feet and continue to fight. In the second round, Louis went down from a crisp, straight right hand. Using every ounce of his strength, Louis would rise again to continue the fight, only to force the referee to intervene once Mayweather bombarded him with more punches, scoring the second-round stoppage. Slowly but surely, he would face higher-level talent. In Mayweather's 14th pro fight, he would face Sam Gerard, who held a record of 17 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw. Gerard had formerly challenged for the USA New England lightweight title and the IBF USBA lightweight title, losing both bouts. In the first round, Gerard would go down from a left hook, but rose to his feet to finish the round. In the second round, Mayweather would drop Gerard again, this time with a huge right hook. Bravely, Gerard would get to his feet and meet the count, but it was for naught, as Floyd would put his foot on the gas and drop Gerard again. Not so brave this time, Gerard would be unable to get back to his feet, securing the second-round knockout for Mayweather. In his 16th professional bout, Mayweather would match up against Argentina's Gustavo Fabian Cuello, who was a multiple-time South American super featherweight champion who held a professional record of 20 wins and 7 losses. Mayweather would pick Cuello apart over 10 rounds, winning every round in the eyes of the judges, though he had 1 point deducted in the 3rd round for hitting during a break. In his 17th professional bout, Mayweather would face his biggest test yet in the likes of former WBO super featherweight world title challenger Tony Pep, who held a record of 38 wins and 6 defeats. Mayweather would school the former title challenger, winning the bout by a confident unanimous decision, being given every round on 2 of the judges' scorecards. The 3rd judge awarded Pep just a single round. This victory would gear Mayweather up for his biggest challenge yet. In his 18th professional bout, Mayweather would finally see himself challenge for a world title. He faced Genaro Hernandez for the WBC World Super Featherweight title, who held an impressive record of 38 wins and only 1 defeat and 1 draw. Hernandez had only been defeated by Oscar De La Hoya, with De La Hoya's WBO World Lightweight title on the line, and his only draw came against former world champion Raul Perez. Mayweather would walk circles around the champion, winning every round on one of the judges' scorecards. He would retire Hernandez in his corner in between the 8th and 9th rounds, crowning Floyd Mayweather Jr. as the world's newest world champion. Floyd would make 5 successful defenses of his newly claimed world title before bumping into his next big test in his 25th pro bout in the form of undefeated challenger and former champion Diego Corrales, who had a record of 33 wins with no losses or draws. Corrales had previously held the IBF World Super Featherweight title before vacating in an aborted attempt to move up to lightweight. Mayweather would put on yet another clinic, hurting Diego badly throughout the fight. Floyd would put down Corrales 5 times, 3 times in the 7th round and twice in the 10th round, where Corrales' corner would see enough and throw in the towel. After another 2 successful title defenses, Floyd would decide it was time to jump up a weight class. In his 28th professional bout, Floyd would match up against hard-hitting WBC World Lightweight Champion Jose Luis Castillo, who held a record of 45 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw. Castillo was coming off of a successful title defense that saw him knock out the challenger in the very first round. Mayweather would come away with a unanimous decision victory, but this fight would be much closer than one would have expected, and as such, it wouldn't be the last he saw of Jose Luis Castillo, who would be awarded a rematch 8 months later. Their second fight would be even closer than the first, and is regarded as one of Mayweather's greatest and most exciting fights. In a back-and-forth all-out war, Mayweather would once again come out on top with a unanimous decision victory, putting an end to the rivalry with the hard-hitting Mexican. Mayweather would make 2 successful defenses of his WBC World Lightweight title before deciding to go up another weight class. In his 34th pro bout, Mayweather would challenge Canadian boxing legend Arturo Gatti for the WBC Super Lightweight title. Gatti came into the match with a professional record of 39 wins and 6 defeats. The bout would begin with Mayweather putting Gatti down on the ropes and being given a count in the very first round. Arturo would retire in his corner between the 6th and 7th rounds, making Floyd Mayweather the world's newest 3-weight world champion. This was Mayweather's only fight at super lightweight, as he would go up yet another weight class in his next world title fight. In his 36th professional bout, Mayweather would challenge Zab Judah for the IBF World Welterweight title. Judah held a professional record of 34 wins and 3 losses when he entered the bout. Mayweather would cruise his way to a unanimous decision victory, winning confidently on the judges' scorecards to become a 4-weight world champion, just the 8th man to do so in boxing history. Mayweather would give up his IBF World Welterweight title after a disagreement with his promoter at the time, Bob Arum, over the purse for a unification fight against then WBO welterweight champion Antonio Margarito. Mayweather chose to activate a unique opt-out clause in his contract and would buy out his contract with Top Rank for $750,000. He would choose to stay at welterweight for the moment, challenging for the WBC World Welterweight title against Argentina's Carlos Manuel Baldomir in his 37th pro fight. Baldomir came into the bout with a record of 43 wins, 9 losses, and 6 draws. Mayweather would absolutely dominate the Argentinian, winning every single round on 2 of the judges' scorecards. After this fight, Mayweather would set his eyes on a certain golden boy in the boxing world with hopes of a huge payday. In Floyd's 38th professional bout, he would face Oscar De La Hoya, with De La Hoya's WBC World Super Welterweight title on the line. Oscar held a professional record of 38 wins and 4 losses coming into the match against Mayweather. From start to finish, this fight was an absolute dogfight. The back-and-forth war between 2 of boxing's best would see Mayweather come out on top, earning a split decision victory, with 2 judges awarding Mayweather scores of 116 to 112 and 115 to 113, while 1 judge saw the bout in favor of De La Hoya, awarding him a score of 113 to 115. This fight would reportedly generate over $130 million in revenue. After taking down the Golden Boy, Mayweather set his eyes on a new foe, a hard-hitting, undefeated fighter who was making waves in the boxing world. In his 39th pro bout, Mayweather would face off against undefeated British knockout artist Ricky Hatton, dropping back down a weight class to defend his WBC World Welterweight title. Hatton entered the bout with an eye-catching perfect record of 43 wins with no losses, with 31 wins coming by way of knockout. Mayweather would show the world he still had power in those hands, dropping Hatton twice in the 10th round with huge left hooks, securing the 10th round TKO after the second knockdown, and handing the Brit his first professional loss. Mayweather would take 2 years off and win 2 non-title fights against Juan Manuel Marquez and Sugar Shane Mosley before challenging Victor Ortiz for Ortiz's newly acquired WBC World Welterweight title in Floyd's 42nd professional fight. Ortiz entered the bout with a record of 29 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws. This fight would end in extremely controversial fashion. After Ortiz hit Mayweather in the face with an apparently intentional headbutt, the referee called a timeout and penalized Ortiz for the foul. Ortiz seemed apologetic and hugged Mayweather before the referee would motion for the fight to resume. After touching gloves and half-hugging Ortiz back, the fighters started to separate, and with the referee turned away from Mayweather, Floyd would catch Ortiz with a massive left hook while Victor had his hands down at his side. Stunned and wobbled, Ortiz still did not bring his hands up and was subsequently hit with a flush right hand. Ortiz was knocked down and hurt badly, and was unable to meet the referee's count, earning Mayweather one of, if not the most controversial win of his career. Talk about the definition of defend yourself at all times in the ring. In his 43rd pro bout, Mayweather would jump back up to super welterweight to challenge Puerto Rican legend Miguel Cotto for the Super WBA Super Welterweight World title, with the WBC Diamond Super Welterweight title also on the line. Miguel Cotto would enter the bout with a professional record of 37 wins and 2 losses. Cotto would not have anything for Floyd, as Mayweather would come up with the decisive unanimous decision victory. After going back down to welterweight for another defense of his WBC welterweight world title, Mayweather would set his eyes on a new undefeated man making waves throughout the world of boxing. Floyd's 45th professional fight would be against undefeated Mexican sensation Canelo Saul Alvarez in a unification bout with Floyd's Super WBA Super Welterweight title on the line and Canelo's WBC Super Welterweight title on the line. Canelo entered the bout with a clean record of 42 wins and no losses with just 1 draw. Mayweather would give Canelo a lesson in defense, head movement, and footwork, schooling the young Mexican world champion. He would come up with the majority decision victory with scores of 117 to 111 and 116 to 112, while one judge thought the bout was much closer than the other two, scoring it as a 114 to 114 draw. This was a much-needed wake-up call for Canelo, who would improve his defense significantly following this bout, going on to win a plethora of his own world title fights. Mayweather would decide to go back down to welterweight, where he would spend the majority of the rest of his career. His 46th and 47th professional bouts came against a hard-hitting knockout artist in the likes of Argentina's Marcos Maidana. Maidana came into the fight with a pro record of 35 wins and 3 losses. Their first fight would be a unification bout with Mayweather's WBC World Welterweight title on the line and Maidana's unified WBA World Welterweight title on the line. This would be a close, tough-fought battle between 2 boxing greats, with Floyd doing enough in the eyes of 2 judges to emerge with the majority decision victory, being given 117 to 111 and 116 to 112 scores, while one judge saw the bout as a draw, same as the Canelo fight. 4 months later, the pair would go at it again, in another closely contested, hard-fought war, though Mayweather would appease all 3 judges, coming away with the unanimous decision victory, retaining his unified WBA and WBC welterweight titles, and also retaining his WBC super welterweight title, which was on the line, even though the bout was contested at 146 pounds welterweight. For his next fight, Floyd would set his eyes on one of the greatest champions boxing has ever seen, in the form of the only man to win a world title in 8 weight classes, a feat that will likely never be done again. His 48th pro bout would be against Filipino boxing legend Manny Pacquiao. The Pac-Man entered the fight with a pro record of 57 wins, 5 losses, and 2 draws. This fight is often referred to as one of the greatest in the modern era, if not one of the greatest of all time. The fight would become the most watched boxing match in history, drawing in a mind-boggling 4.6 million pay-per-view buys and generating an unbelievable $410 million in revenue. Mayweather would come up with the unanimous decision victory, successfully defending his unified WBA and WBC World Welterweight titles and claiming Pacquiao's WBO World Welterweight title. Mayweather would make one more defense of his unified WBA and WBC World Welterweight titles in a clinic against Andre Berto before taking 2 years off from the sport. In his final match, Mayweather would choose to fight an opponent who had never recorded a professional boxing match with no world title on the line, which sounds absolutely insane until you realize that for his 50th and final professional bout, Mayweather would face off against UFC double champion Ireland's Conor McGregor. This fight would go down as the second most watched boxing match in history, drawing in another absurd figure of buys with 4.3 million. Mayweather was guaranteed a fight purse of at least $100 million and McGregor at least $30 million. The bout would showcase that Mayweather was a class above McGregor, as he outworked the MMA champion. Floyd would put his foot on the gas late in the fight and force the referee to stop the fight in the 10th round, securing his 50th professional victory. Mayweather would subsequently retire from the sport of professional boxing as one of the greatest to ever lace the gloves up. That wouldn't be the end of his boxing career in general, though, as he would go on to have a handful of exhibition bouts. Mayweather is still active to this day, making boatloads of cash in these exhibition bouts against kickboxers, YouTubers, and the grandson of an infamous New York mob boss. Mayweather will go down as the highest-paid boxer of all time by a long shot and one of the highest-paid athletes of all time. So, what do you think of the professional career of Floyd "Money" Mayweather Jr.? Who would you have liked to see him take on before he retired? Leave a comment down below and make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and would like to support my content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.